Hi, everybody. It's Melinda. I am coming to you live from Humboldt, California. Loving living in San Diego. People have been asking me a lot, do you love it there? I love it here. It's fantastic. So let me pull myself up so I can see who's watching, so I can see who's on. Check in, turn that down. So I had a really fun thing happen. A former client, friend of mine, she wrote in. She actually asked me a question. She said, "Hey, I'd love to have you talk about this." And so I thought that was a great idea. So if any of you have a topic that you want me to speak on, gosh, send it my way. I'd be happy to chat. And as maybe you don't know, when I'm talking, I mean, yes, a lot of this is what I've learned over time, but there's some higher beings, energies, information coming through me that it's not really me talking. So pretty much all of my information is all channeled. So here's her question. She would love to hear you, Melinda, I'd love to hear you discuss reflection and the law of attraction. So here's her situation. There's a negative person in my office. Who doesn't have one of those in their life? She literally calls bad from the universe. She actually said once, "I hate that everyone is always so happy. When she's near me, I feel my own energy going crazy and I don't know how to stop it. And I can't figure out what I'm hiding from myself that this is in my life." So there's kind of the setup for my little discussion today. Now, the title of this is reflection, law of attraction, and new age, new thought, self-abuse. So I'm going to start there. A lot of people are using these ideas that, what did I do to bring this into my life? And oh gosh, that's such a harsh stance. And that's actually, it's taking something that has such neutrality to it and making it so personal. So let's begin by being gentle and kind. It would be no different than just being so abusive to yourself. And it's like, why can't I just jump off the ground and stay off the ground? Well, because there's this law, this neutral law called gravity that's keeping us attached to the earth. And what is happening in consciousness are neutral laws that we can work with as we become more aware of them. And when we're not aware of them, they are still fully operational. If I'm not aware of gravity, it still works. And so this idea of law of attraction is it's still working on whatever I'm thinking I'm putting out into the law of attraction, if you want to call it that. And then the universe will reflect back that to me. So these are not personal, and certainly this is never about beating ourselves up with what is a neutral law of the universe that we're coming into more awareness of. So let's take the self-abuse piece out of it. Just cut that right out. If someone is ever sick, it is so inappropriate to say, what did you do to bring that to you? Oh, so inappropriate to even mention that, to even think that. It's like, no, that's not where we're going with this. There are laws. And when we can say, I am now in a place where I say, I am taking responsibility of my experience, and I know that something within myself is bringing this to me, not to beat myself up, but to take ownership, to take responsibility so I can respond accordingly. And if I don't like what's happening in front of me right now, then I get to respond by changing my thinking, by looking at the dynamics, by addressing it that way. It's so much more loving and compassionate. These laws are neutral. They're not out to punish us or get us or beat us up. It is not that. So we just need to take that out of our language. So back to her statement then. So this person is very negative, and I like that this person has said, I hate that everyone is always so happy. Well, of course she hates that. She, in her own being, that happiness outside of her is going to be like a spotlight beaming into her unresolved issues, whatever her soul is here to work through and heal through. Other people's happiness is lighting that up for her. And I've had this experience. People who have very happy relationships in the past, it's just, oh. Or have you seen someone have what it is you want and you just feel disheartened? They've achieved what you've been setting out to achieve all along, and you just, all that's doing is it's showing you where you yourself are holding unresolved stuff. So that's what's going on in her world. So she is holding a lot of wounding and other people happening. And the person that wrote this, I know she has a really just a loving, happy, bright spirit that would absolutely act like a spotlight. So if you then are in the position of being the spotlight to other people's wounding, how do you hold yourself in that? That's a great challenge. Number one, recognize it's okay for people to not be happy, that you can bless them in that place. This is not the ending of their world, and it's not always going to be that way. This is just where they're at. You know, we look at people progressing through their education, and it would be like freezing them in 4th grade. And it's like, oh, this is always where you're going to be, is at 4th grade. And it's like, no, this is where I'm moving through and what I'm progressing through. So what she's asking then is, how do I hold myself and my own energy rather than feeling it being pulled out of me? That takes practice. Number one, you can begin to embrace your own shadow. She says at the very end of her question, fortunately, I have another person there who is the absolute opposite, where I can find refuge. And what the words I find interesting in that are find refuge. So there is a pulling away, a repulsion, if you will, from someone in shadow energy, sadness, grief, anger, loss, heartbreak, whatever that is, anger, resentment, jealousy, whatever that is, that's our shadow side. And so if we're repulsed and repelled by that and we find refuge in happy people, well, there's your work. Is how then do you hold your own shadow? How do you find then the own parts of you, the places within you that are already miserable, that are not happy? And all you have to do is look at the news and you'll find them. You'll find outrage and you'll find anger and you'll find fear and powerlessness and jealousy. And all of those are within our own experience. We all have that. So she's reflecting a number of things for us. She is showing us what it looks like to be in our shadow, to be in that wounded place where other people who are happy are lighting her up. And then we can also recognize she is our shadow. She is that place within us that's not happy, that's not content, that has a difficult time. And then we can also recognize within ourselves the repulsion. Ooh, I don't want to be near her. Oh, I feel my energy getting sucked out to her. So much opportunity in that, so much being reflected in that, and we can bless it all. The people around us are our very best teachers, and the people who light you up are your most excellent teachers. They're here to help you. Oh my gosh, learning to love them and appreciate them and just seeing them as a teacher is can be in itself a bit of a trick. So I just want to see who's on. There's a few people here. Oh, hey, Debbie gets to finally see me live. Woohoo! Is it any different? Not really. And then Justice. Hi, Justice. Actually, you're a big piece of what kind of added that self-abuse part, because if you guys don't know Justice Bartlett, tune into her. She's got some really great stuff to say about authenticity and really honoring these shadow places, like really being in that painful place. And she's doing some really great modeling of what that looks like. So thank you, Justice, for your work in that. And she says, or allowing other practitioners to do it either. And I'm not sure what I was saying when you said that. Practitioners will often get us away from feeling our feelings, away from and trying to reach to those happy places. And honestly, I try to find that happy balance. I think that there is such an important balance in that. owning my shadow side, feeling those feelings, being ever so present to the energy that I'm holding within my being, allowing it to transform out of that state. And at the same time, holding the vibration and the intention of my becoming. That's a balancing act. So important. If I tip too far onto one side and it's all sunny and all roses and it's all positivity, I can't maintain that myself, honestly. And I know certain practices teach that, promote that. And if you can do that, and it works for you, God bless you. Wow, fantastic. It doesn't work for me because when I start putting my attention on all the positivity, all the things that I want to manifest into my life, then what rises is the very things that are preventing me from getting what I'm looking for. So then my attention goes on to now embracing those shadow wounded pieces, feeling the feelings, allowing that energy to transform out of that dense, condensed form that feels like a punch in the gut or just an ache in the heart, and loving it and allowing it to transmute. So to me, there is an absolute balance in holding my positivity, acknowledging my shadow,